I made it work first time! Ah! It's the best. Yeah. Simply the best. Actually, I better not sing that. Otherwise, it'll somehow get content ID'd. I should have grabbed my cup of tea from downstairs and tweet and everything that I'm streaming. Blah, blah, blah. Stream now live. Start Citizen Talkie Times with me, Board Gamer. I am here. HTTP no HPP no S :/ .tv / bam, perfect. Little arrow to it. Why have I got Twitch Prime up? Get out of here, Twitch Prime, you mother trucker. I don't want Rage Silent Legends! Twitter. Right. I'm gonna go get my cup of tea, and then we'll go live with the stream. Well, I mean, it's, you know what I mean. You'll see my face. I'm eating porridge. Oh Lord, a hit coming! Oh. Plants in my room. Oh, I know. Oh, I know what I should have. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, we'll do it for next stream. Oh, oh, bobblehead. I'll make this easier to start with. Hey, right. Turn this down. Right, next stream, well, I'm going to update this background footage, or maybe we'll actually play Star Citizen. Boom. Pew, pew, pew. There is a PTU build of Star Citizen at the moment, a test build, with one bug fix in it. I think it's got the fixes, actually, from the previous PTU build as well. So 4 big bug fixes in it. They're just testing some bug fixes that could potentially cause problems in the next 3.8.2 build, I believe. So, I hope everyone's doing alright. If you'd like to ask a question during the stream, please put question in brackets. It will allow me to address that more easily. Typically, nothing's off the cards. Some questions you're allowed to ask, as long as they're civil. You're not, like, incredibly rude or, you know... I mean, if you're obviously trolling, I will probably call you out for being a troll, and then answer your question anyway, in a customer service type way. I've got a bobblehead. Everyone knows that bobbleheads are popular, right? Right? I'll just start making content on bobbleheads. It's the dude from Far Cry 4. So, CIG did not have a good time with their Star Citizen Live. The dude, Jared's nice. The dude that was the dev that was making the bobblehead on Star Citizen Live, they were nice. That's not a problem. Problem is no tangible game content. It was just 2 dudes chatting, which is fine. But you can go to lesser content creators that aren't making games, such as myself, to just chat in front of a camera. So I'm not sure if that's a cell phone or not. But I have got a video coming out this evening. I've done the audio for it already. It will take me fuck all time to edit it because my editing is atrocious at the moment. Which is going to be about Star Citizen Limbo and mainly Star Citizen video content and what I think CIG should be putting out. Totally in my opinion. In my opinion such it is. It's not a humble opinion. It's a I reckon opinion from a point of view of me as someone that is a super consumer of CIG's content and other Star Citizen content. So it sort of like looks at all the different elements that CIG could do. And I'll get that out maybe like an hour after I stop streaming. So yeah. Tuesday today, the 11th of February. I'm not sure I pretended that I was sort of like working out what date it was. I literally looked at my clock as I did my head turn. So what I was saying before the stream started was that I knew I should have put as my donation goal, because I anytime I have anything that I want that I think is appropriate for a donation goal, I just check the donation goal up so people know what donations are going to, whether that be super chats or whatever. And some upgrades to my office/room. So I've got. I'll show you some of it. No, actually, that will be. Oh no! What have I done? Yeah. That'll be fine. So I've got like some plants around the room now, but some of my pictures are just not great. They're just like old Star Citizen canvases that were poor choices for canvases because they're just like a black blur. So I want to get some acrylic pictures done. I want to get a new webcam that can be over here, so I can do videos towards that webcam, talking to the webcam, and have my screens and computer in the shots, because I want to do some stuff where I'm talking about things that it might not be appropriate to have Star Citizen background video for. I mean, So one of the other things is that when Zin's working for me, which we're hoping for pre-June of this year. I mean, it's over a year. I've been saying that now, but he'll be working with me as an editor, but also as a channel partner, effectively helping me do a load of new content and that sort of stuff. Mostly for Star Citizen, maybe some other stuff as well. Certainly for streams, we'll be playing things like Sons of the Forest, some co-op stuff that I hope people will really like. I think they will. I know some people will. And like Cyberpunk, we'll be playing Cyberpunk. I'm not sure how we'll play that together, but we'll work out a fucking way. I do well when I'm working and playing with other people, and I'm only interested in co-op games, and really I'm only interested in Star Citizen because it's multiplayer. Squadron 42, yeah, I would have been interested to a degree, but I certainly wouldn't have had just a channel on Squadron 42. So, very much looking forward to Cyberpunk, I've realised. And Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alyx is the next big game, I think. Doom Eternal, I'm hoping it's going to be pretty good. I had one of my mates that was a Quake 3 pro back in the day who was able to go and play it not too long ago. He said that it's the best Doom game he's ever played, and is as big as a jump as it was from Quake 2 to Quake 3. I was like, ooh, that's high praise. I think he's hated everything since maybe Half-Life 2. I think he said there's not been a good game since Half-Life 2, which I mean, for his his appetites. Anyway, right. How is everyone doing? Are you all good? Oh God, did someone say Popplegate? So yeah, I mean, I don't want to bust CIG's balls too much about an individual episode, but I will bust their balls to an extent with content as a whole. The video content that they're putting out and community engagement is not appropriate for what I want. Well, they could certainly do a lot more. I love Star Citizen, I love the project, I love the devs, I like the content that they have put out previously. I just, 3 weeks hiatus after a major patch, I don't think it's appropriate inside Star Citizen. I want more. Inside Star Citizen's too short, and there's loads of other video content they could be making. Calling all devs every week, they could easily do. They could be doing ship shapes, they could be doing deep dives into features, they could be doing location tours. There's so much they could be doing a tangible episode on. And Digital Foundry proved this the other day. Digital Foundry are doing a Star Citizen series. They have had access to some of the Star Citizen studios, I think the Winslow studio, to do that, which is great. Maybe CIG should do that for other content creators. But my stuff's never going to be as well edited, at least not by me, as these better channels like Morphologists. I mean, I'm me myself, I don't have interest in getting great B-roll. I want to make videos that are informative and talk about Star Citizen and news and stuff like that. So, and that's the reason I need Zin. I need Zin, so bounce ideas off her, but she can also get the appropriate footage, which is good for the needs. I can have camera people to record this. And all this stuff is B-roll. Hard to do without a camera person. Do you know what I mean? What does GIB stand for? It's give. It's give it back. No, it's GIB. What does GIB stand for? What does? It's giblets and telefragging, making people explode. GIB. What does GIB mean in a sentence? What does GIB stand for? Definition. Gigabyte. Grind in box. Good in bed. Google it, baby. General information book. Global internet business. Guy in back. Slang. I gibbed his bottom with a railgun. That would be used in Quake or Quake 2. Why doesn't it? It's give. It's give, Carrack. Give it. Give it to me. So many people to stab him back. No, it's give. Wait. Why does the internet not agree with me? Well, I've been using it as give. Give me. Yeah, it's give it. GIB, German, forgive me. Why not? I don't know. I just GIB Carrack. I just thought it was something we were saying. Shit, son. Right. Bring on the Carrack. Yes, we all want the Carracks coming by the end of this month. Unless CIG are going for the most disappointment they can give in a year, in which case they'll go, we're moving it off the roadmap. No, they wouldn't do that. It's coming in February. Concierge Seagulls say GIB the most. Well, some of us are lucky enough to be concierge. Actually, tiddly peeps. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Okay, yeah, so I'm looking forward to the Prowler. The Prowler has been delayed from March to March. I know. So rather than 3.8 branch March, it's in 3.9 branch March. Almost some alliteration there, sort of, almost. Well, not alliteration, you know, rhyming. Fuck you. Sorry, I'm in a weird mood today. Bit erratic. Oh my god, there's lots of people chatting here. I'm going to give heed to questions in bracketaroos. Nom nom nom. Show us your face. Yeah, that was a while ago. Lots of people saying GIB in various ways. Good job. Hey, hello. Give me information board. If that's what GIB stands for, fuck it, why not? That sounds good. So this song is, if you go to Chief Monkey's YouTube, he's got a Star Citizen original soundtrack playlist. Some of that you can get. Well, you can get Squadron 42 on there as well. You can get one that's just in the Persistent universe. You can get the extended versions. So yeah, so most of this stuff is Pedro Camacho's stuff. Although some of it's going to be Jeffersonelli's. You'll probably hear later. Also a new guy that I can't remember the name of. Been watching your stuff since the Shithound race? You've been watching my stuff since Hangar release. Finally caught you live. Thank you very much. Freedom Unite. Appreciated. A long time to be watching me. I apologise for your loss. My shirt's blinding. Well, you can't see my shirt now, and I've just got my lovely head. And the top of my head's probably quite blinding. My long, mutant, weird beluga whale potato head. Should I keep the Valentine Super Hornet? If you want to. I mean, at the end of the day, you can get all the ships in-game. If there's a ship that you like more than it, don't keep it. Get the new one. Why do you think they are still putting out 3.8.1 PT patches? It's just minor fixes that they might even be able to subsume into the 3.8.1 branch without actually having a major update or anything and calling it 3.8.12 because they want the 3.8.12 patch for the Carrack. They sort of like already broken that stuff down. So it's just minor patches they might subsume into either patch. Do you think man turrets should have auto gimbal or ship computer aim assist? It's hard to actually aim anything in a fighter. So man turrets are getting a gimbal assist. Or some form of aim assist. Or some form of gimbal assist. CIG have already said that. Recently, in fact. And this stuff's going to evolve anyway, so it might not be appropriate for it to have a proper gimbal assist or aim assist in the future. Especially when once we have better network code, servers working at 30 plus ticks frames a second, whatever, and a significantly more optimized netcode, then we're going to be in a position where maybe we don't need these aim assists and that sort of stuff, because hit prediction will be much better. And hit reg, among other things, among latency and delay. Do you agree the community holds CIG up a way high? Do you agree the community holds CIG up a way higher standard? Compared to what? I feel games with less content and games with around the same amount of bugs get praised way more. You might feel that. I don't think so. I think the CI community... Okay, so Star Citizen community is quite large for an alpha project. And it's a huge spectrum of people, from people that are incredibly critical to people that are sort of like near White Knight levels, although I don't see... Montoya said this in a video, actually. The sort of like, it's kind of fake that there's so many White Knights, and it's true. Like, there's not that many people that are sort of like hardened CIG can do no wrong. They might defend decisions they do by them by saying, well, maybe it's because of this, or maybe it's because of that, or maybe it's an alpha. That's not a White Knight. That's just someone that's, you know, potentially argumentative, but more sort of like, well, I don't know, I think that your point might be wrong, sort of thing. It's the internet. You always get people like that. But I don't necessarily think that, well, as long as everyone's civil, it doesn't really matter. People can discuss things. Even if you want to play devil's advocate, discuss things. It's good. It's good for the project. It's good for me. It's good for you. It's good for ideas. But I don't think that I don't think Star Citizen's community necessarily hold it in like a really, 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 really critical state. We don't hold it too much to account in the same way we don't hold it freely to do what they want. The community gets rightly angry about certain things, and there has been retractions in the past from CIG of moves they've made, like trying to charge for digital tickets for Citizencon, that sort of stuff. That's not appropriate. We said, no, you're not Blizzard. You haven't released a fucking game yet. Come on, you can do that once you've released a game, once you've got a load of games in your catalogue, and you want to have like a special fan event that costs you millions to put on. But Citizencon makes CIG money. Yeah, it's one of the big like sales and sort of like things. It's not something they should be charging huge amounts of money for, or any money for digital viewers. So yeah, but I mean, at the moment, CIG's not putting out enough video content or enough quality of video content. Some of those choices for video content is lacking. It misses the mark. And I'm not going to be individualist about it when it comes to an individual video saying this was not great. Well, I am, and what. But I'm not going to hold all other videos retrospectively, sort of like in terms of breaking my opinion of CIG just because a couple of videos have been poor. That's going to happen sometimes. So sometimes they're going to miss the mark with content. And that's fine, as long as it's not constantly, and as long as there's an appropriate amount of other video content coming out. It wouldn't have mattered that there was the bobbleheads thing. Wouldn't have mattered that the bobbleheads thing was just, you know, they could have been talking about anything. Didn't have to be about Star Citizen. It could be about anything. It could be my college project or school project or something. That's the problem with that. It wasn't anything tangible to do with Star Citizen. I think it's right to... You don't need everyone to hold them to account either. You don't need everyone to vote with their wallets. You just need people to talk about stuff and voice their opinions in a civil manner. That's literally it. And then you can go, well, actually, this is a good idea. This is a bad idea. I agree with you with that. I don't agree with you with that. That's great. And CIG will read that and get some feedback. You don't need these. You don't need super angry comments. You don't need people overly defending CIG. It's not our place to defend CIG. Anyone's place to defend CIG beyond CIG. You're more than welcome to correct people. And then this is just my opinion. You do what you do you. But Board Gamer, can you subscribe to my channel? Like sub for sub? I will have a... I'll tell you what, Andre, I will have a look at your channel. If you email me or message me on Discord, that's probably the best way. I will happily have a look at your channel. Oh, thank you very much. Brian Ogrisk. Ogrisk. Ogris-esque. Ogrisk. Ogrisek? I don't know how to say your name. Brian, thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member. Very much appreciated. Legend. Shite, happy Tuesday, you ginger Picard, you. Am I ginger? No, okay. Oh, I have a little bit of a ginger beard. I do have a little bit, but I think it's maybe just the lighting. Oh no, why am I a ginger Picard? This is the worst thing. CIG is redoing Squadron 42 to replace every character, including the Vandal and Banu, with Keanu Reeves. Thanks, bud. Is that true? Because I would praise them for it. Oh my god. I think a lot of people would. Do you think CIG is slowly trying to get rid of subscriptions? Subscriptions have gone up. So in 2018, they went up to 3.2 3.26 million? 3.26 million? Yeah, I think so. 3.2 million, 3.3 million sort of thing. And I think they've probably gone up to at least 3.5 million now. So I don't think they're trying to get rid of subs. I just think they've made some poor decisions when it comes to video and community engagement content. They need more. They need more. Hire more people to do it. Like, Disco's great. I like Disco. But you could get more people to do more content. It's not taking devs away from development. There's lots of stuff they could do that doesn't necessarily need to take devs away from development. And even if they do, 2 hours like manpower a week isn't going to cause much interference. Especially when they could do a lot of this through producers. They go, so what is your teams doing? What are the videos that they've shown you of gameplay with this? Hi, I just wonder if 3.8.2 will have the Carrack released or they delay it to 3.9. No, so they've said multiple times, Carrack by the end of February. It's not, CIG aren't putting out constant crap when it comes to videos. It's just, there is a lull after a major patch. 3 weeks break is not appropriate for video content. They need to be making it constantly. They need a lot more video content. And just recently, I think that they've had some slow starter content and then a couple of bad choices with the content they've shown. So all of that together has just been like, really, CIG, come on. So, it's not constant, but it has been since 2020 at the very least. I worship my Lord and Saviour Potato Head, yes. Is that me? Am I Potato Head? Do you think manned turrets should have auto gimbal or ship computer aim assist? As I said a minute ago, they're getting some form of aim assist, and I think that will evolve over time. Same with all the sort of like combat and models and stuff. Are you worried that we'll just have a sea of Carracks when it's released and it'll get old very fast? No, I mean, I think the Carrack's going to be high up there with ships used. I don't think it will beat the Cutlass Black in ships used. Certainly won't beat the Freelancer in the short term. That said, hopefully they'll be able to remove the Freelancer from everyone's account and fix the bug associated with it. I know lots of people are enjoying the Freelancer, but I think the Carrack's going to be one of the most popular ships for a reason. I think it's super multi-role and cool, and it's going to, once it gets sort of like more and more exploration gameplay, it'll be genuinely great ship. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything on that ship. So when they introduce drones, you'll be able to use drones on it. As we get more and more medical features, we'll be able to use the med bay on it more. It's got a bit of everything. So we know 30Ks are a catch-all for uncategorized server to client events. How can we drill the specifics on these 30Ks? Just report them in the issue council. That's all you can do. And occasionally check the forums to see if there's a specific bug that they're looking for. Because they'll give you specific ones. Would you agree the community whole... that's what we talked about that already. Question for Valentine's Day. What is the meaning of true love? It's different to everyone. Some people will argue biology. Other people will argue, I know, lots of different things because you're perfect for each other, or it's love at true sight, or whatever. Sometimes it's just lust. I know that is for my Carrack and me. The first man to marry a Carrack. Oh my god, Carrack weddings. Let's do it. Keep up the good work. My #1 source for CIG news. Thank you very much. Appreciated. Hope it's maybe I'm CIG and Star Citizen news. Maybe I suppose that's what I've moved into. It's not Star Citizen news. It's the company and CIG news as well, I suppose. So I'm actually single, but I hold. I look like a bit of an attractive potato, but I am a potato. I'm sort of still in love with my ex-girlfriend from many years ago, and I hold everyone else to account by that. I was having a. You so learned Papa Board. Thank you very much, Andrew Higginbottom. Thank you very much for the money. I am so learned. I was having a bit of a heart-to-heart about me and being single, and but I don't want. So like, I'm only really interested in my ex, to be honest. And when I've got a bit more money and I'm a bit more successful and more chill, I think maybe I'll reapproach her. But I was like in a bad way, depression and undiagnosed bipolar and stuff like that when I went out with her. And I was a lot more attractive though as well, with hair and stuff, and thinner, and younger. So I'll approach her again in a few years and see if it's possible to reunite. Yeah, that's real talk right there. And beat my chest if you didn't see. Hi through. Andre, don't spam about your channel in my chat. It's bad form. Never say, have a look at my channel to someone else's viewers, because some streamers will just instantly ban you or whatever. I'm happy to take a look at your channel though later, outside of the stream, and I'll give you some feedback and happily promote it on my Discord if it's any good. There's actually a section in my Discord to promote that sort of thing. Are they not giving Freelancer anymore? I believe that the Freelancer is still available for everyone. So the Freelancer is currently, I believe still, free on everyone's account. And they'll get rid of it eventually. Do you know why we are unable to modify all components on the Valkyrie? And will get the option to do so in the future? Yes, you're awesome. There's bugs with some ships at the moment. It's lots of the known issues there. Obviously you can't modify rented ships at all anymore, but some ships have got components being duped or breaking or not being able to be removed. Can't spawn some ships, some components are getting stuck. So hopefully that will be fixed in 3.8.2 or 3.9. I think a lot of people are super excited for the Carrack, and I've been seeing the gibboning on Reddit, and the CIG sort of playing along with that as well. Can you imagine if they didn't meet February release date? Oh my god, there would be riotaroos. Is it odd the Cutlass Red went up in price when the Cutlass Black did not? So it didn't really go up in price. It sort of did. So it's sort of like CIG stealth increasing prices. It was $120 on War Bonds still, so you could buy the upgrade as if it was $120, but the ship went up to $135 in total, so which is what it's available at now. Yeah, so I'm actually quite excited about Theatres of War, because that's something for me to play on stream and make content about quite chill. And it's something for me and Zin to do if we've got nothing else to do. So say it's a slow news day, we'll do another stream, and we'll do Theatres of War. Nice and easy to organise. I jump in a game, bam, action. Kindly GIB Carrack. Oh, thank you so much. Sigrund, thank you very much for the sec. Do you think the game is worth investing in its current state? I have enough saved up for Concierge and one of their packs. Have they kept their promises since 2013? No, they have not kept promises. I mean, it's whatever you... I mean, they have not had a smooth development. Let's say that. I would just buy a starter pack, Mr. Classy, and get involved with the development of the game from a point of view of a backer. You don't need anything more than that. And if you fall in love with a ship organically while playing, and you've got the money and you think, actually, I do want to support this project more, then do that. But don't just jump into the project and go, I'm going to support it without really understanding it and playing it and having a look at it. You might as well now. You might as well start with just a $45 game package. Bam. That's all you technically need. And you get everything in game. Anyway. I certainly wouldn't buy Concierge outright. That's madness. I mean, I don't know how sort of much money means to certain people. Like, it's going to have different values to different people. I mean, if you're on huge, if you're like 30, 35 plus and a really, really good job, you might have huge disposable income, especially if you're single. And money might not have as much value to you. So, you know, each their own, but all you need is a game package. And I certainly would start with that. From your opinion, when will it be worth grinding up and buying stuff in-game without losing it every little patch? Once they have... So, they're going to have platform persistence in... they're supposed to have it at 3.8, but they haven't really. They've been deleting, they've been resetting because of exploits and other problems. So 3.9's likely to probably get some resets as well. I mean, 4.0 will probably have resets. Like, what we need is full persistence and them to go, right, we're not going to touch the resets for a while. And we don't know a time frame on that. They won't get full persistence in this year. We know that. Permanent progression is a little bit different from that. But them just saying, right, we're not going to touch it for the next couple of major patches unless, then that's a good time to grind. Because you might have 6 months plus of being able to play in a single game loop. If they had scoreboards with people's UEC and stats of who's got like the top mission clears or who's got the top sort of like security rating from doing lawful missions and the top pirate rating for doing the most piracy things, like scoreboards, leaderboards for that in the persistent universe, I actually think that would encourage people to play a lot more now and, you know, throughout the test period. GIG pretty much announced they're reworking 2 ships that have yet to be announced. They're working on 2 ships, yes. They might not be yet to be announced, but yet to be officially announced. So this could be Tavaran fighter. This could be Xi'an cargo ship. This could be a mining vehicle for the ground. This could be the small mobile refinery. I tried to play Starpoint Gemini 3 and realised the quality of Star Citizen compared to other games sometimes. Yeah, that's true, but there's no proper polish on Star Citizen. It's certainly beautiful, okay? Star Citizen is one of the prettiest games, if not the most pretty game, sort of like available. But it has problems. It has bugs. It is alpha. Mercury Star Runner, C2, M2, A2, Hercules 2020. So I believe that we will see some of the Crusader ships in 2020. They moved the Hercules C2 off the roadmap. I would expect to see it in 4.1 or 4.2. I'd also expect to see this Mercury Star Runner in 4.1 or 4.2 as well. I believe they're talking about the Mercury Star Runner this Friday on Star Citizen Live and some other concept ships. So that's one to look out for. Oh, desync is the worst thing at the moment in Star Citizen, yeah. So we know that the Theatres of War and the general network code stuff, they've actually got a huge amount of improvements there. But they're needing to dial in server-side container streaming more. And a lot of their network improvements only work if their servers are stable and getting 30 plus ticks at a time. And servers degrade at the moment. So that has huge amounts of problems. No hope for a surprise RSI Lynx rover instead of the crappy RSI Az rover. I mean, in the future we could have some more rovers. Do you consider the game to be in alpha still? Yes, it's certainly still in alpha. It's moving into what I would deem closer to early access on Steam. But yeah, because of staggered development, because CIG have said hold them to a higher standard, we should be holding them to a higher standard from playable patches from major release to major release. It's fine to be critical and talk about CIG stuff. It's fine to say, I like this, I didn't like that, whatever. You can whine about stuff, you can, it's fine. Or you can have tangible criticism about stuff, or you can talk about what your thoughts are. Again, as long as you're civil, it doesn't really matter. And you're not going to have the same opinion as someone else. And they have a right to talk about it and converse with you about it. And don't assume people are being defensive, and don't assume that they're being aggressive when it's neutral either. I mean, people might just have a different opinion than you. And everyone just be as civil as you can be. And then everyone does better. Everyone gets more out of conversation. Any thoughts from yourself, Board Gamer, regarding the Star Runner, Ares, and Starlifter? Do you think they're working on those heavily for release enough? Yeah, I do think we'll see them in 2020. Oh, don't shake it like a furnace. Please. Oh, this. That's not how I shake. Oh, actually, maybe at the urinal. Do you think the game is... as we talked about that. Oh no, I just jumped ahead. No. What's your opinion on the Ion and Inferno? Has it changed at all since the initial announcement? No, it hasn't changed at all since the initial announcement, as far as I'm aware. The actual ship. I'm really into those ships. Are you talking about my opinion as it changed? I'm really into those ships. I like different types of combat ship. To me, that's like an Alpha Striker ship, or a ship that provides support to other wings of ships for taking out unsuspecting fighters, heavy fighters, and medium ships, because it's just a size 7 gun strapped to a ship. I really like the idea of it. I own both. I didn't think I was going to buy more combat ships either, so... Is it worth getting into the game with a group and attempting to do pirating and other activities such as that? If you want to, yeah. I mean, there's opportunities to do it now. The best one that you can have in Star Citizen, beyond treating it as like a tourist destination and trying out the new content, is by organising stuff to do in-game. That was obviously much easier to do in terms of sort of like gameplay loops when we had Junktown, and the sort of like the drug running between that and other places, with people like locking it down and assaulting it and fighting each other there. That was awesome. But there's still large groups of people that will try and lock down servers and do a lot of this stuff. Once we have more of a law system and legal system, and piracy makes more sense, then I think that will get much more. We'll get lots more of that. So at the moment, is it worth doing? Yeah, if you can organise it. Question, do you think the Crusader planet will be delayed because under core tech in the roadmap there's no volumetric cloud tech? So I believe that's actually already been completed for Squadron 42's Time Distance Field Nebula. A gas giant tech was never actually listed on the roadmap. I think that was just assumed to be part of Crusader. So I still think we're getting Crusader and Horizon for 4.0. The Star Citizen is 4.0, isn't it? Let's just check. Yeah, of course it's 4.0. We should be getting the 4.1 roadmap on the roadmap this week. So, that's something I am actually excited for. You has already read that one out. Have you heard anything about being able to sell stuff, i.e. old ship components and guns, etc.? It's something they're going to have in-game. We just don't know when. It's assumed that they need full persistence in the game, so it can actually track that information, what's on your account, what's not on your account, before that. And they do plan to have full persistence in this year. Full persistence is not the same as permanent progression. Will there be a Carrack progress/information video from CIG coming out soon? I would expect to see one probably next week. I have reliably sourced information that Carrack is out on February 30th. Do you? I don't. There's 29 days in February this year. The Carrack is currently $500 in value. That might change. Are you going to name your Carrack waifu? Well, I'll certainly have donation goals, or people that donate the most, or people that are Patreons or something, name my ships. That's fine. If you would wear a wig, what style and colour? I have a sort of like bright red wig, a sort of like Ziggy Stardust kind of. Was it red? I've got a red wig, long hair. Only wig I've ever worn. I'd like my mohawk back though. Can't it be interesting to involve the community more than just funding? Flair, art, texture, skins? Yeah, I agree. However, there's issues with that. Having the community design these things, and that's one of the reasons they have to redo the Redeemer. So some of this stuff isn't necessarily done to the standard that CIG want. But having the community involved in some of those processes in some ways is probably a good idea. How can we hold CIG accountable? The poor quality video content has been going on for years now. It's just not going to get magically better. It doesn't have to get magically better. They have to, look at the video content and add more. I mean, it's as simple as adding more, in my opinion. they need to add more to Inside Star Citizen, so they're at least 12 to 15 minutes long, and have calling all devs back and stuff like that, and more community engagement, and then the features that used to be in around the verse, sort of like ship shapes and the deep dives, have them as separate videos that occasionally happen, and then have the town halls and stuff like that again in a bit more detail. And they just have to put more content out, because it's not all the videos that are terrible. It's just the 2020 offerings have been lackluster, so far, because there's a bit of a lull and it's slow, and the ones that could have been good, they made poor choices on what the topics were, in my opinion anyway. And I think in a lot of people's opinions. So to say all their video content is crap or anything is disingenuous. However, there's certainly been the worst it's ever been this year. Any plans for a game around being arrested? Do we just teleport? So you can surrender in 3.9, and you're sort of like, when you're surrendering to an appropriate authority, you'll get teleported to prison is the idea. You pay to black, go to prison. That will change in future. Well, it's assumed to change in future to some other thing. So someone this reply was talking about my ex. Don't reunite with her if she's only interested in you when you're more successful, etc. No, I'm only interested in her when I'm more successful. It's literally that. I need to be in a better place, a better state of mind, be a better person. We broke up because of me and because I worked too much, and I was super stress head. I want to be a better person. I want to be mentally stable. I want to be financially stable. I want to be able to provide a future for both of us. I mean, that sort of stuff. Like, I don't want to. I just want to be better. You know what I mean? And when I'm happy being better, and when I'm happy that I've got my own life sorted to a degree, then I think maybe I can get involved with someone else's. And I'm fully prepared for rejection, but at least I know then, okay, I'll potentially look for someone else. But at the moment, I'm not really interested in anyone. Want to work, want to chill, want to play games. With CIG investing in 25% of a web development company, so they bought 25% of the shares, or traded like 2% of CIG Studio shares for 25% of Turbulence shares, which are the people that are doing the web development platform and Spectrum and some of the stuff like that. I expect to see more work on the site making it better. I actually suspect they're doing that now. I expect they're doing integrated star maps and lots of other stuff like that, and integrating the website into Star Citizen as a game, like lots of more in-game stuff. But yes, I want a better website, and hopefully we will see that. Salvage, obviously, is one of my most wanted features for this year. Dynamic economy, dynamic mission system, and salvage, I think, some of the top things. How do you think CIG will balance FPS in Squadron 42 and Star Citizen? In Squadron 42, you have multiple fun shootouts with Vandal and Pirates, while in Star Citizen, you can have, you go to hospital bed. Okay, so much easier to balance in Squadron 42 because they can set the difficulty and all the enemies, and they just have an appropriate amount of enemies with the appropriate weapons to be able to be done. I'm not sure if there's going to be difficulty levels in Squadron 42 or not. That'd be interesting, actually. I have no idea. I'll have to ask Aaron about that next time I get a studio tour. Okay. But Star Citizen, I don't actually think they need to balance it that heavily either. Like, Theatres of War will help balance that sort of thing, so that it's not overpowered or there's only one meta. But it's going to be about choices and the roles you're doing. And how do you balance that for, what are you balancing for? Are you balancing for PvP? Are you balancing for the environment? Are you balancing for particular job roles? Well, you're sort of balancing for all of them, but you make choices on what you do and when you do it. So it's much easier to balance that stuff than you think, because they're focused. Opinion. It's a good sign that CIG is producing cheap content like the bobbleheads last week instead of deep technical insights. So obviously they work hard on Squadron 42, which they won't talk about. I mean, that's a stretch. That's a stretch. What else have we got? I think I remember you saying the Nova won't fit in the Carrack. The ballista is bigger than the Nova, and I thought CIG that it confirmed that it will be able to carry 3. Or in the cargo... I don't actually know how the cargo pods work on the Carrack. Okay? It's possible that the cargo pods will be able to carry vehicles as well, based on how they are set up. I'm not sure about the entry-exit ramps. We've only seen the entry-exit ramp on the front of the Carrack, which looks like it only just had enough room for the Ezra. So it's not a video on Friday. It's a Star Citizen Live with one of the ship designers. Or one of the people that are helping build the ships. Your opinion on the Corsair concept? The concept's solid. I wanted another exploration ship that was done by Drake, and I like Drake's take on everything. Cheap, no frills. But you reckon the Corsair will be probably more common than the Carrack once it's in game? After the recent jump points, do you think we'll see more barren procedural generated planets? You'll see. So they're working on lots of different biomes at the moment, and lots of effects and techniques and planetary tech, and they've got the probably the last major iteration of planetary tech now in game, version 4, but they're going to keep on iterating it and adding bits to it still. But they've got all the tools to make lots of procedurally generated planets and procedurally assisted planets, and then add the other content to that. So yeah, I mean, you'll see some barren planets, you'll see some gas giants, you'll see some systems which are pretty bare, but have like really vast resources, but also some interesting sort of like incursions from Vandal and stuff like that. So it's mostly procedurally generated content there, and less procedurally assisted and less handcrafted content. In the state of the game now, destroyed ships vanish in seconds, and so without persistence we don't get salvage back. Do you think the same? So yeah, I mean, at the moment the game isn't appropriate for salvage. We need full persistence to have ships that are destroyed in game, or at least more persistence, ships that are destroyed in game to stay there for a little while, for a few hours or whatever. The server can't track many entities at the moment, and without full persistence, and then really we need server meshing. Although you could argue that server-side object container streaming could allow for a lot of this to work. But what they could do is salvage sites that pop up in the game to allow for the salvage mechanic. Or you just have to do the salvage when you're there, though you'd have to constantly have a ship with you. It should be weird. So I do understand why salvage was moved off, because they want to work on it more, they want it more polished, and they need some other elements to come together before they do it properly. Also, I mean, physicalized components would be great for salvage, because you literally can remove a component and put it on your ship. They can just count that as part of the salvage. After the race of jump points, do you think we will see... we've talked about that. Is Star Citizen behind with the Squadron 42 roadmap schedule? Yes, on some of the features, kind of. I did a video on this yesterday. So there's features that were planned to be completed in 2019 that haven't been completed yet, although some of those features have been sort of like... they're moving on to the next iteration of them without closing them. Some of them just required more polish. Some of them are almost complete. It wasn't like a huge delay or anything. They're behind on the roadmap with it, even if it's just by a few hundred man-hours. Is there FPS issues at the moment, or is that just my PC? There's not really that much in the way of FPS issues compared to what's historically been with Star Citizen. I don't really have frame rate issues or anything. In some areas like Levski and the major cities, you can get significantly lower frames, that's for sure. Any news about the Nautilus? Nope. Any news about the Taurus or the rework of that? So I thought that maybe they were reworking the cockpits of all of the constellations potentially, and removing the struts and having rigid glass. But that's a pipe dream in my head. Well, that's just a self-rumor. I would expect to see the Taurus this year, probably in 4.1. Everyone be civil, but I'm allowed to be a stealthy old bastard. So I read from that. How do you feel about the Polaris and current concept? Yeah, I love the idea of the Polaris. I think it's going to be a great, slightly more warship, multi-role ship. Yeah, I think it's going to be really useful in big battles. People are going to try and get them very close to other capital ships and like hammerheads and stuff to take them out quickly. Will CIG stage a ticketed Carrack launch party with Paul Carrack singing songs on stage? I don't think so. We'll ask them on Friday. Could it be interesting for CIG to let people play Theatres of War and other 2 for free to lure people into the verse and Squadron 42, like StarCraft, free to play with locked story modes? Yes, I think in the future that might be a thing they do. They go, well, actually, we'll just release Star Marine and Arena Commander and potentially Theatres of War for free, and then encourage people to buy Star Citizen or Squadron 42. Has anyone heard anything about fixes for ships and vehicles jumping around or sliding down very gradually hills when parked? I haven't had anything fixes-wise for that, but that is a known issue. Do you think they may have bed options for rovers or a way to camp so you can just take a long planet ground trip? Maybe. I mean, you're going to be able to log out even if you don't have a bed. It might not give you the safety that you want. I mean, what I'd do is I'd have, if you log out without going to bed in a bed, it just take a bit longer for like 15 minutes or so before you actually despawn in your area. Maybe you could do it with rust. You could rust it and actually have people there if you wanted, but maybe just have them despawn, and then when you come back, you don't have your you haven't rested. Like maybe the player status system will track comfort and rest, and you haven't slept, so your character's going to be less effective. And there's lots of things they could do. I mean, yeah, you could just have a sleeping bag that you take around with you. You could just have the character stay there. Have it slightly AI controlled, so it just defends itself carefully. Because you want to prevent people from just logging out if they're being hunted down by a bounty hunter and stuff like that, don't you? Has anyone heard anything about... We talked about that. Should be McShipface. Maybe. Do you think they'll be able to build systems much faster with the tech they currently have? Yeah, it's faster and faster. Has there been any new information regarding ship customization besides the currently available system applied to the Origin ships? Are they planning to move it in-game instead of the website? Yes, they are planning to move it in-game. They're also planning to have aftermarket customization. That's manufacturer-level customization when you first buy a ship. At the moment, with that 300 series, apparently it takes as long as making a ship, they said, to get that sort of like system for each of the ships in-game. Although I'm hoping they have a dedicated team working on that eventually. Just a small one, that'll be fine. And then they'll have it in-game. And then and then aftermarket customization is much more having your painted any style you want, like flames on your ship, silly things that aren't necessarily within the remit of a particular manufacturer. That's what I'm most looking forward to, aftermarket customization in-game. What happened with SOX, server-side object container streaming? I thought it was supposed to improve network side, but it seems like it stayed the same or got worse. It's improved significantly. It's just not where they want it to be, and there's lots of other bugs and problems. That's what's happening. So it'll get dialed in 3.8.2 and 3.9 and beyond. Do you think they should bring back 10 for the chairman? Yes. What do you think about ship UI reworks of every ship's cockpit? Actually, talking about 10 for the chairman, I don't think they necessarily need 10 for the chairman. They just need key members of staff to be talked to each month, like part of a town hall or whatever. 10 for the chairman would be fine, though. Or 10 for the, 10 for the super dev. What do you think about ship UI rework of every ship's cockpit? Yeah, that's fine. I mean, they need to bring them all up to standard. The original, well, the current cockpits for most of them in the UIs were placeholder, and we knew that for a while. What does the sign have to do with sign distance fields? Signatures? Billboards? No, no, as in sign, as in sign, maths, sign. It works out distances and makes them into a variable. Oh, no, it quantifies distances of things as a trackable thing. I know fucking... it makes shields around things and makes gas tech. See? That's how much I know. How's the diet and workout regime going? Other than today, really, really good. So today, I haven't done my run yet, but I had a shower. So I don't know if I'll be asked to go for a run. Hope you're sticking to it. Yeah, I'm 197 pounds last time I checked, which is still going down. It's much harder to lose weight now than it was in the first few weeks. Pie and... Oh. Pie in the sky after the Carrack of... Pie in the sky after the Carrack of any of the concept ships left. What would you personally like to see them add next? Titan suits. Not a ship, but fuck you. Shouldn't we be able to mount a rescue of an arrested Conrads on the way to jail? So I think that there will be missions to do that. Comrades, do you mean? I see. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there'll be probably missions to do that. I'm thinking the easiest way of doing bounty hunting, though, from CIG's point of view, is that if someone surrenders, or they're taken down with less than lethal, or even taken down with proper bullet fire, pew, 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 they just respawn in prison or a cell elsewhere anyway, that's controlled by NPC stuff. That's the easiest way of doing it, and that might evolve to be a bit more in-depth. You shave your head, or are you bald? Sort of both. I'm mostly bald. I look like a monk. With, like, this bit is certainly pretty much bald. Where I used to have my mohawk. Why is it both? There's a follow-up question already. Good job. Is anyone able to see hand minables with the Cutlass Black? If so, where should I go to achieve this? No, you can't scan for hand minables. You can see them visually. You can't scan for them in the Cutlass Black. You'll have to go in like caves or look around to see them. They're really hard to find without me scanning with a mining ship. Already answered those. Already answered that. Do you think they will be... What do you think will be a realistic player limit on the server? They will only raise it from 50 to 60. That isn't enough to get the universe filled with players. Yeah, I mean, that's totally correct. Once we have full persistence and server-side object container streaming in, I would expect them to raise the sort of like player cap to at least 100. And then we should see server meshing static, which will then see the universe cut down into lots of 100-player sections, which then seamlessly transfer data between them. So effectively, you're on a server with hundreds of people all moving around. And then they have dynamic server meshing, which potentially means that you could have everyone in the same server. Mega Stitch server. However, they have to put artificial restrictions on certain areas somehow. And they could do this potentially with supply and demand and raising prices and raising taxes, charging fees for docking in certain places, things like that. Star Citizen seems to drift in the direction of a fast-paced FPS with vehicles a la Battlefield. Is Death of a Spaceman still a good paradigm, in your opinion? So, Death of a Spaceman is not appropriate for the current Star Citizen or Theatres of War or how Star Citizen currently plays. There's no true risk and reward yet. Once Star Citizen is an MMO, once it's fully persistent, once it has true risk and reward, and once it has a lot more of the features, then yes, Death of a Spaceman will work fine for it. Hyped for Friday's interview with Sarah McCullough. Is it McCullough? How do you pronounce it? I hope so. She's the Mercury Star Runner designer. Yes. I'm very hyped for that because I want to know more about the Mercury Star Runner. Do you think the Airzo will be more reliable with harsh weather conditions coming online? Yeah, I think it will be able to resist some of the bad weather. Bad weather. Do you think CIG will sell 10% of their company to a Chinese company operate in the gigantic Chinese market? There's Chinese Star Citizens already. I hope that Star Citizen and CIG do not bend to the knee to China, though. I'm fine with them selling it there, and I'm fine with them doing business with China, but they need to, you know, be reasonable with the rest of us. Follow-up question. How awesome would it be to have planets without hero landing zones and other NPCs, just planets and harvestables? There will be loads of those. You'll see them in Pyro. They'll be releasing the Pyro system in 2020, at least some of it. VR is a genuine thing that they'll be looking at least to some degree. Once Vulkan has been integrated, they should be integrating Vulkan and Gen 12 rendering stuff this year. So they'll then probably give us a little update saying, yeah, we're now thinking about VR a bit more, and once we're a bit further down the line, we're implement it. That will probably be CIG's response, but they will be able to look at it a lot more, and it's something you'll probably see for Squadron 42 first. I own a capital class ship, but I can't be asked socialising during an org. Do you think I'll be able to manage with a handful of friends and NPCs of crew? Yeah, you will. With a handful of genuine players and NPC crew, I think you'll be able to handle a capital ship just fine. I think it will be pretty hard to do it with an NPC crew, but with a mixture of the two, yeah. Just a quick thank you. I enjoy your coverage of Star Citizen, although I'm super casual with the game, and this type of feedback is very helpful. But no worries at all. I mean, it's super helpful to me as well. Thank you very much, RT, Repudiated Truth. Thank you very much for the monies. Very much appreciated. They are going to have better ways of navigating, better star map integration, being able to save locations, sell location data, data as a commodity, stuff like that. Better scanning stuff, actual exploration, gameplay, more points of interest. All of this is incredibly important to Star Citizen, and gameplay loops for just traversing the verse and the exploration and every other bloody mechanic and feature. Do you think we'll see taming or herding of creatures? I don't know. Farming to some degree is going to be a thing, but we're not sure if that's going to have arable farming in or not. Do you think there's going to be things you can do with animals, whether that's big game hunting, selling lootables from them, capturing them as pets or whatever? Any news on NPC crew, and if I can hire NPCs to fly a ship or do other things? Yes, you can, but not yet. You're also about to put AI modules in certain turrets and potentially other stations to do some slightly derpier tasks. But an NPC crewman will be better than that, and then a player crewman will be better than that. Looking at the roadmap, I'll be getting drinking and eating in the next update. Yes, that's the plan with the player status update stuff. So eating, drinking, and temperature is all going to be tracked. So obviously there's extreme conditions on planets like Microtech. And your clothing is going to work out what your environmental sort of protection level is and how long you've got to survive in like a storm or whatever. When will they finish the 890 jump? It's in game now. I mean, it will get more updates. When do you expect UI building blocks to be implemented? So they're updating the UIs for pretty much everything at the moment with the building block system. You'll get it from patch to patch to patch. So they'll be iteratively updating everything from 3.9 to 4.2. You'll see most of that stuff done this year, I suspect. Won't server meshing require way more landing pads at sites than they currently build? Why? Why? They need to expand out the gameplay area with server meshing when they get more and more people in. But they can also artificially prevent people from getting certain areas by having police scanning them, by having costs associated with docking and landing in certain places, having more space stations. Do you have any idea why CIG is keeping the secret specifications of the Carrack? I mean, no, they just haven't updated all the Carrack stuff. I mean, there's going to be a few little surprises, I suspect. Are we getting the Carrack for Valentine's Day? No. You might be on sale again for Valentine's Day. But we might get a sale of a ship, and might get some red-coloured ships. Might get a new concept ship or sale. Carrack, expect it for 3.8.2 at the end of this month. Well, I don't want sales to China at all. The Chinese find the act of hacking to be hip and even prideful, and they will rip Star Citizen apart. Are there any ships you think will not be created? Are there any you think will be delayed a lot due to their complexity? Endeavour, the big science ship. Hull E, potentially, because it's so huge. And the Hull C is a good example of that as well, because they need to get morphing physics grids, cargo updates, and ship-to-station docking in before they even consider releasing that ship. The Orion, probably, because it's so massive. And they need mining to work for it really well. I mean, Endeavour's probably the one that will take the most, in my opinion. Are there any current AAA games out now that use Vulkan on Windows? Yeah, probably. And I can Google it. What uses Vulkan? What games use Vulkan? Vulkan API, okay. We've got a load of games here. Quake 2. Right, it's Rainbow Six Siege, Life is Strange 2, Red Dead Redemption 2. Lots of random ones. Fortnite, World War Z, No Man's Sky, Wolfenstein Youngblood, the new one. X4, Rise of the Tomb Raider, more Wolfenstein games, Warhammer Total War 2, Serious Sam VR games, Doom and Doom 3. What? Oh, I see Doom. 2016 Doom. Okay, yeah. Quake 3 Arena, Dota 2, House Principle. Is there currently a commodity website for reliable 3.8.1 prices? Yes. And it is somewhere on my website. Resources. Oh, I don't know where it is. I haven't got it open. I'd have to look for it for you. Apologies. It is on my website somewhere. I just don't know exactly where. There's a couple of resources I use. One's a spreadsheet made by the Human Germ. The Human Germ starts listen. Human Germ. Bam. Here you go, buddy. I'll link you to the Reddit thread, if that's cool. There's another one I use as well, which is more UI'd. But, So beyond these player status updates that are coming in the next patch, a little bit later on, there's going to be inebriation, hygiene, and I think tiredness, and then other effects as well, like being poisoned potentially, and certain drug effects. We've seen bobbleheads. What do we think the next useless thing is going to be that they show us? Thank you very much, Jaden Cattrall. Very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Anyone that's subbed or chucked money at me or become a YouTube subscriber or a Twitch subscriber or, you know, whatever. Give me feedback, bits, whatever. I'll have them all. Have you seen the thread on Reddit about monthly subscriptions not being value for money? Currently, do you consider it worth £10 or £20 a month? No, I don't. I haven't actually included that thread in my video that I've done. I probably should have, but hey. It's worth like a £5 maybe at the moment, £5. It needs to... I don't mind the subscribers. I don't mind that. I don't mind not having specific subscriber perks. What I want from subscriptions, what I always thought it was for, or at least what I pay for a subscription for, is video content and community engagement. And I want it to be to a pretty good level, seeing they get like over $3 million for it a year. And that generates them a load more money as well. Not just they generate money from subscribers for that. That then generates them money because of, you know, they've got a bigger community. They've got some player-facing sort of like gameplay and stuff to show and all that sort of jazz. Bear with me. Do you see that nifty Foundry, Digital Foundry Star Citizen video yesterday? Yes, they are making a whole series on it. Do you think it's sponsored? I don't think so. I think that they were able to go to the studios and see some cool stuff, and I think that they'll probably do a positive review series. Maybe a couple that are slightly critical, but they're probably quite happy with what they saw and got good treatment from CIG. And they were like showing off a lot of the stuff. So, I mean, it's not the same as the guy reviewing the game. He's gone to the studio and looked at the technology behind Star Citizen and gone, this is fucking cool. Doesn't necessarily mean Star Citizen's going to be a great game or Squadron 42 is going to be a great game. It's him talking about the technology and the engine behind it and what they've got planned in a way that CIG have been showing him and talking to him about it. So, of course, he's going to have a pretty positive view of it. But yeah, I did like it, and I'm interested to see more from Digital Foundry. And I'm hoping that CIG will be able to get me a good sort of like studio tour in the not too distant future myself. I'm not going to be anywhere near as good as like Digital Foundry as stuff. I mean, they're just better at stuff than me. But I mean, I'm good at just rough, raw Star Citizen news. Did you see the... that's all right. If so, are you jealous about the video they got to make? Of course I am. Of course I'm jealous about the video they got to make. But at the end of the day, I do get to play video games all day. I've got my sovereignty of my channel. I hope CIG give me opportunities to do that. It'd be great. If anyone want CIG watching? And actually, I know Tyler's... I think Zylo's organising something for me at the moment. So, when will we be able to get a strip club module for the Carrack? No, we won't. I mean, you could roleplay it, I suppose. Any news on the M2 Hercules? I do think that the Crusader ships are going to be a focus this year. We might hear something about it this Friday. I mean, they are talking more about the Mercury Star Runner, but maybe they'll say something about the Herculeses. And I would expect to see it on 4.1 or 4.2's roadmap as well. But no official news on it now. Did you really used to have a mohawk? Yes, I did. Big mohawk as well. Maybe I will put a picture up for my Patreons and YouTube members. Yeah, exclusive board gamer, younger and prettier content. Yeah? I didn't wear a hat as a chef. I just didn't spike my hair up. Did it clip through? Did your mohawk clip through your hat? Has there been any mention of system invasions from the Vandal, for example? They sort of talked about it. I would expect that is gameplay they've got planned in the future. But they showed on the Quanta, the Quanta system, there was pirates coming from the Pyro system into the Stanton system. So that sort of stuff is clearly planned for the economy and the dynamic mission system and points of interest and events. When do you think the Idris will be back on sale? The Idris M, and I don't know if they'll ever sell the Idris M again outside of in-game. But Idrises and stuff like that typically go on sale in the November sort of sale period, end of November. Darren Lambourne, that is the other dude. Right, what else have we got here? Are you excited for Pillar Talk today? Yeah, so we've got a part 2 of Pillar Talk today, which is looking at some Citizencon stuff and 2020 stuff. So Citizencon, sort of, I'm not sure exactly what they're going to be talking about with Citizencon. There's obviously some cool stuff there, but they're also going to be talking about the year of 2020 and features that are coming for that. I'm excited for the roadmap update this week for 4.1. The 300 series of ships can all be customized, and it's awesome. Any thoughts about when it will be brought to other ships? They said it takes a long time to actually bring other ships into it, so I'm not sure. Once they can get a dedicated team working on that, probably after this year. Will you be doing a capital ship video? Yeah, I'll be redoing a load of the older videos and updating them, for sure. Has anything ever come from those weird audio hacks you were getting at Port Lasar? Are they still happening? Nothing's come from it yet. Hopefully that will be part of 3.9, or maybe it will be when Pyro system's in. It's very possible that's going to do with pirate incursions and things like that from Pyro. It's possible that it was something that was supposed to be for Citizencon that was then cut, and that they'll do it later. I think one of the modules they might make for the Carrack might be a habitat so it can drop on planet to be lived in. I mean, that would be cool if you could do that with some of the cargo pods. It's possible, I just think it's unlikely. I don't... They haven't said anything other than it's going to have changeable cargo pods, and they should have some modularity to them. Do you think CIG will be boosting content for the subscribers? It's been a little slow. I've got literally a video that I will, once we're done here, and I'll dash off in a minute, I'll get a video out, which will be talking about the lull period in Star Citizen, the sort of like Star Citizen Limbo, and the less than acceptable video content that's currently being that's gone out. In my opinion, for Star Citizen, like I want more, and I'll talk about what I want more, what ideas I have for more, and why I think they're good, that sort of stuff. But yes, they need to have more content. Why don't you live watch shows like some other streamers, Talk, etc.? Is that what people want? Do they want that really? Or, I don't know. I'm more of a YouTuber than I am a streamer, I suppose. Can we get CIG to allow Port to reveal the new ship? It'd be dope. Well, it would be dope for me. I mean, not everyone loves my stuff. I appreciate people enjoy my content. It's very kind. And I will continue to do what I'm doing and add more to it and iteratively try to do better. I mean, my editing's super poor, but my research is pretty good, I think, and my consistency getting videos out constantly. Do you think if Star Citizen will generate? Do you think if Star Citizen will generate more money for CIG if it's out? Yes, I do. What do you think about people saying Star Citizen can't ever be finished because then the hype will stop? No, that's not true. I mean, they can keep on hyping it with more content and lots of other things. Sales for things. I mean, they could keep on doing concept ships. Star Citizen could be absolutely massive as a game, but it needs to be mainstream. Squadron 42 is a good litmus test for everything, though. Can they actually make a good AAA game? Did they get the stuff right? What? That sort of stuff. Like, and then they'll be selling UEC in game and stuff like that anyway. So, have you seen Mythic Quest on Apple? I have seen Mythic Quest. Ages ago? Is Mythic Quest by Zombie Orpheus? Is that them? When the Carrack comes out, could you do a video just showing the detail of what it can currently do? Yeah. We'll do Carrack tours, we'll do Carrack gameplay, I'll be doing Carracks on stream stuff, 100%. Do we get the Pi season as are over with the Carrack? Yes. They're even working on the ability to have those spawn inside the vehicle for 3.9, I think. What, in your opinion, is the biggest ship you can fly alone without being restricted to one gameplay only? I don't know what that means, one gameplay only. You can fly even giant ships alone, like a Hull E. It just might not be very sensible or effective. GIB Mercury! Serious Scraper. Hopefully... Serious Scraper? I hope we will have more to talk about the Mercury Starrunner on Friday. That is my hope. Any chance of the Carrack this week? Incredibly unlikely. Expect it for the end of February with 3.8.2. Might go on Evacardi next week. End of next week if we're lucky. What's your opinion about solar sails? I watched Deep Space Nine. You think they will fit into Star Citizen universe? I mean, they could have them in lore for some of the alien races. Maybe there'll be some weird aliens that use them. Hi, board. You think CIG are struggling with Squadron 42? I mean, it depends what you mean by struggling. I think they're struggling with lots of aspects of the game, but that is just them working on it and solving problems as they come along and refining tech and stuff. Are they struggling with server-side object container streaming implementation? Yeah, but that just means they're refining it and implementing it and dialing it in better. Like, is Chris Roberts still working on physics grids? He's doing he's done part of the physics refactor. I'm not sure what he's working on exactly now. Are they responsible for most of the bugs? Is Chris responsible for bugs? Well, server-side object container streaming and lots of the core features not being in the game yet are responsible for bugs as well. What's your take on the biggest issue that plagues Star Citizen at this time in development? What? There's lots of issues that Star Citizen has, from community content and video content to bugs, to stuff not being polished enough, problems with AI and server code and prioritizations. I'll take a look at Mythic Quest to see if it's any good. No worries. Nautilus gameplay. How are they going to stop people from laying 50 size 5 mine bombs all at once over quantum travel entry points to cities? It will be illegal to use mines in certain areas, but around certain points of and systems where there's no law, that might happen more. However, there'll be mine-sweeping ships, I suspect, that are smaller than the Nautilus, that go through and can deal with them. Who do I have to talk to about getting a board game, a bobblehead in game? Oh my god, I don't know, but I want to find them as well. Do you think any gameplay loops will be added this year that are not part of Squadron 42? Yes, I do think salvage is one of them. I think deeper medical gameplay is one of them. I mean, data running. There's quite a lot. I'm hoping that we get some repair stuff. I think we'll get physicalized components. There's quite a bit they can do this year. Hopefully fuel mining. Quantum mining of quantum material, whatever the fuck they're calling it now, quantanium. Do you think we'll get a Crusader ship when they drop Crusader as the game? I think it's an indication that a lot more of this sort of Crusader series of assets and design and style guides are all done. So it's much more likely they'll have to make those Crusader ships much more quickly. you sort of adverse to setting up your own large org? I mean, I'll certainly organise board gamer stuff and Nomad Black into a much more organised force for playing the game, for sure. When we see alien NPCs walking around the major ports? Love your videos, by the way. They are working on the Vandal, but beyond the Vandal, we don't know what's happening with the Xi'an, the Tavaran, or the Banu. I would expect probably the Banu to be worked on after the Vandal. Do you think in-depth medical gameplay would work well in Theatres of War? I mean, probably not in-depth, but body dragging, being able to jab people with med pens, and that would be good. Not really in-depth, but it'd be useful to have that. Do you support the popular request for devs to receive a small shock every time an error kicks someone off? Or we have... Oh, wow. No. No, I do not. What do you know about the Caterpillar's modularity and how they will work? So it's got 4 major modules in it. It's 4, isn't it? And then the front module, and they will be changeable for other things in the future. We just don't know what they're going to be yet. And they've previously looked at like a little barracks, a little armory, a little workshop for like repairing and salvage. Some of those. You're not allowed to mate the Nautilus with the Carrack. No. Do you think the writers of Expanse were mad as CIG refused to make the game of the series and decided to spit out their dummy? Yes, joke. No, so I thought that the dude overreacted slightly, but I mean, he's had a really good point with you don't want your camera turning on, especially when you don't expect it. There was no warning that it was going to use VoIP. He just had his camera turn on and go, "Why is this game using my camera?" He reacted in a way that was like, "Fuck you," which is fair enough, I suppose, especially if you're security conscious. Do you think we'll see Mark II version of the Hornet this year? I think, like, you're not going to see a more evolved version of the Hornet beyond the F7A. Like, they've updated the Hornet already. You might see some very light updates to the Hornet as well, and in the future you might see a new version of the Hornet, but the old version will still exist. As far as I'm aware. They're working on a load of the 30k issues. Server crashes and stuff. Just thought of a concept for CIG is to allow board to announce... What? Just a thought of a concept for CIG to allow board to announce, take a Pisces-sized ship, pack it with mini fridge, a big flat screen TV, snacks, and a stream deck. What? What is going on? I don't even know what that is, but I love you. When is the next sale where they will make most of the ships available for upgrades? At the end of November. Is the expression "Gib Carrack" a German based for give? Yes, it is. Gib. Gib Carrack, give Carrack. I'm seeing it everywhere at the moment. On Reddit, on Spectrum, in my Discord. Do you expect more ship companies or player-run companies will appear in-game as well as more modern ships as the universe progresses? Yes, there will be more and more and more. If I store a suit, a bobblehead in the locker, what will stop someone from stealing it out of my ship? The fact they can't be on your ship. It will be a crime for them potentially to take anything from your ship. There'll be security and permission systems in place so that you'll be able to prevent people from just freely walking around your ship without them hacking or doing like other gameplay themselves. Any idea where the next Citizencon will be held? No, not yet. They are going to announce it reasonably soon, though, apparently. What else have we got? Nautilus gameplay. How are they going to stop people? We've talked about that. What happened to Lawmaker's Guide to the Galaxy with Sherry Heiberg? I suspect they will do some more of that in the future. And will voice bomb. But they've done the Galactopedia stuff that they were working on that because they want to eventually have that integrated in game, not just on the website. Right. Yeah, so I'm going to get up a video in the next like half an hour or so, I suspect, maybe a little bit longer, based on how long it takes to compile, of talking about this sort of lull period after a major patch. Like 6 weeks in, we're sort of like lots of people have done everything, but are aware there's going to be a major wipe and stuff. And talking about CIG's like slow starter for content in 2020, but always generally just straight after December, January, and mid-February are quite slow. So I want to talk about that, and then I want to talk about what CIG can do video content and community content and engagement-wise that I think is a good idea from my point of view, but literally from my point of view. I'm no expert. I can only tell you, I'm a super consumer of Star Citizen content, though. So, with the rework of the Connies delaying the Taurus, well, we don't know that for sure. That's my expectation. And the Carrack finally defining what exploration means. I think the Aquila will be more than just an Andromeda with a funny nose. No, I think it's going to basically be that, but with obviously better scanning. You mentioned 200 and 400 series of Origin ships. Have you heard any information on? No, not beyond just stuff mentioned in lore. If I log out in the middle of a forest and the tree falls over, will someone in the next object container hear it if it makes a noise? Only if the data is procedurally handed off correctly to the server. So maybe. Thanks, board. Take care. No worries. In before the Carrack 2.0 by Anvil gets announced as a capital class explorer. Oh my god, it's a giant Carrack. Do you prefer the industrial interiors, i.e. the Caterpillar, versus the more sterile interiors of the 890 and 600? That's a good point. So I like a mixture of the two. I like the more industrial interiors because they typically denote something being cheaper, which I'm all in favour for, and they're interesting to look at. Stuff that's overly clinical is actually quite boring to me, but I do like bedrooms. I want them to be clean, and like the 600i and 890, and probably bridges as well. I want them to be the clean, like Origin ships. But the rest of the ships and the engineering sections, I want them to be more like Drake and industrial areas. Yeah. How likely do you think a tally rework? How likely do you think a tally rework will happen before Squadron 42? I suspect the Retaliator will get some light reworks before Squadron 42. Yeah. Right. I am going to dash off. I suspect the constellations are getting little tweaks. That's my expectation, because that makes sense why the Taurus isn't in our hands yet. So maybe they're redoing all the Carracks at the same time, a little bit. Not Carracks. Constellations. Thank you very much for the bits, Zach. Very much appreciated. Right. Well, thank you for the love. Chill blast. Right. I'm going to go. Thank you very much for everyone that supported the stream. Thank you very much for anyone that was just here. I will get a video out shortly. Feel free to watch that and share that as well. If you've got any questions that you want to send me, you can go on my Discord, discord.gg/boardgamer. You can email me directly at contact@boardgamer.co.uk. I am going to be getting lots of content done, every day. That's what I want to do with my channel. I cover Star Citizen. Whee! Thanks very much for the love. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for the donations. Thank you for the subs. And you guys take care. We will go and host someone. We will host Super Mac Brothers. Bam. And give him some love. Right. /raid. Bam. Yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys. And yeah, I'm doing really well, actually. So thank you for that. I'm not as tired as I usually am. There's a lot of work I want to get done. Next week, we're just going to do videos on bobbleheads all week, because I know that's what people wanted. They were like, we love bobbleheads! Yay! Oh shit, son. That's fucking weird. Thanks, Winlord. I appreciate it. I love your face too. Take care, guys. Bam.